Diddly, and welcome back to another long overdue biscuit review with me, Fred Hope. This is the first day it's been warm and dry enough to cut the grass. I've cut the grass, and fueled by that jubilation of destroying a small ecosystem, I'm now going to review a biscuit. Today we're going to go and look for some Garibaldi biscuits, otherwise known as squash flies. And Garibaldi, so named because Gary Lineker and the man from Right Said Fred invented them, and they didn't know whether to call them Garys or Baldies, so they called them both. The real answer is that some Italian bastard had something to do with these biscuits, so there you go. We're due some showers, which is fantastic news. I've made myself a very energetic cup of tea. It's a transferred epithet. I made the cup of tea energetically. The cup of tea itself can't really be energetic unless, of course, you think about the movement of the molecules in the hot water. But anyway, that's me being a dickhead. Whilst I was cutting the lawn, one of the neighbours said, "Huh, about time! I was going to say you're letting the side down." And instead of saying, "Fuck off, Titchmarsh," or "Suck my balls, you old witch," I remember the old adage, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it. So I remained silent and looked at my poorly cut lawn. We're heading into Stockley, home to the famous, infamous, some might say, depending on what your social calendar looks like every year, heading to the Stockley Steam Fair. It'll be the first week of July this year. Head on down and enjoy some steam. Usually it's steam engines, cars. There's usually quite a good collection of owls there. If you're into looking at collections of owls, that's one of the possibilities. But anyway, without too much more dicking about, I have to climb up a very steep hill, traverse some difficult cross-country terrain, and alight at the German supermarket Lidl to see if I can gather up some Garibaldi biscuits. Oh yeah. What? Yeah, see, that's what we need to try and avoid. This is what loses you all of your shit. Wow, look at this. Literally everything has come out and flown everywhere. Right, let me do an adjustment. That was only a bloody small one as well. Hey ho. Fresh chips in the mug. A few batteries around the place. It's nice. Very nice. Right. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now there should be somewhere. Yeah. Camera case. Now I need to find that battery pot relatively urgently. Where the fuck has that got to? Anyway, I'll progress at a gentler vitesse. I suppose the only other thing to think about is that I could probably just use a rucksack. Why don't I just use a rucksack? Yeah, the reasons that I haven't been doing biscuit reviews are largely because the weather has been utterly shite, but also because I've been focusing on getting Toyota MR2 ready for a trip to the Nürburgring. I've been doing a few little bits and bats. Yeah, just been doing other crap. I had to take the front end of the bike apart the other day because it didn't feel very good. It still doesn't, and I wonder whether it's just that this is how a 1988 Honda Cub would feel if you're riding it off-road, because of course it's not meant for this. I acknowledge that. The top box does feel like it's still in one piece, which is encouraging, and there's a nice white Fiat Panda there, not quite the yellow one that Chris Sauder always lusts after, but it's close as fuck is to swearing. There once was a man from Devizes who had balls of two different sizes. One was so small it was no use at all, and the other so big it won prizes. As you can see, today is an arbitrary Thursday, and Devizes is absolutely rat-fucked with traffic, so I'm going to give up. I might even go and change onto a Cub 125. I'm not sure that everything is quite as it should be with this bike. It feels like there's a hinge in the middle. I mean, you saw me just dart around that pothole with ease there, but I don't know, something doesn't feel quite right, so I might go and look at it later. But in the meanwhile, let's go and change bike and get this biscuit review done, son. Well, you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, complain bitterly and give up. Ideally blame someone else as well. Alas, I can only blame myself because it's only my Honda Cub and it's only me maintaining it, so I am to blame. However, we're on the Cub 125. The power is going to my head, clearly. It's insane. This thing's got at least 3 more horsepower than the Cub 90. And I've got hiccups. But yeah, my search for Garibaldi Biscuits was ultimately fruitless because Lidl don't have them. They had fruit shortcake, and I thought, you know what, no, that's not good enough. So I'm going hunting in big Tesco's. I'm looking for oblong biscuits, which are 2 bits of baked biscuit with squashed currants sandwiched in between. They're named after Giuseppe Maria Garibaldi. He was an Italian revolutionary, basically. He set up the Kingdom of Italy in, I think that ran from 1861 to 1946. Amongst other things, his followers wore red shirts, and he was a freemason, so every time you stuff a dead fly biscuit in your mouth, know that he was a freemason. That red thing there is a fire engine, otherwise known by my mate's daughter as a Wetty, which I think is an absolutely fucking fantastic name. So I will forevermore call them Wetties. I've just got to try and navigate some of this bastard traffic. So you out of the frying pan and into the brambles, or whatever you call it. You leave bloody Devizes hoping that the traffic will have stuffed off. Oh my god. And you end up in Calne, where the traffic is just as bad, with the added disadvantage that it's Calne, with all of its shortcomings. I'm allowed to say that because I live here. Anyway. Oh, blossom. Blossom! I love this little house. Someone's taken real care to do it nicely. Lots of nice stone on it. Anyway, so we're getting towards the edge of Calne, but we're going to turn back into the guts of Calne, the stinking underbelly, the armpit, the rectum, the scrotum, the gusset, the groin, I don't know. We're going to the bit of Calne. Oh yeah, look at the nice refreshing fumes. That was Kevin! That was Kevin! Kevin! I bloody knew it. That was Kevin. He's got my gloves on, the little weasel. Anyway, Kevin! Kevin's recently learned how to use a moped, and I don't know whether the GoPro will have picked it up, but there was just an aura of incredible smugness and joy about Kevin, so I hope he's doing alright and enjoying his drizzling around. Yeah, so we've got to find some Garibaldis. Also, I think that £1.25p still feels refreshingly cheap for any item of food in this country. because everything is getting hyper expensive at the minute. But also £1.25 to be able to eat a biscuit that reminds us of a red shirt wearing freemasonic Italian revolutionary who once visited Britain and left such a memorable impression that they thought, I know exactly what to do. And this was in an era where everyone got a bronze statue. I know precisely what we need to do. We must bake a biscuit in memory of his visit. I just think that's so awesome. If I could live a life that was so significant to enough people that they had a biscuit named after me, well, I wouldn't need a headstone. Your headstone would be constantly going into people's mouths and out of their arseholes every day, and that would be cool. There's a sentence no one else has said today. Windidly, and welcome to this long overdue biscuit review with me, Fred Hope. I've already detailed the particulars of this Garibaldi biscuit. Red shirt wearing Italian revolutionary who was also a Freemason, left such an impression when he visited North Shields that they named a biscuit after him. So we'll do the scent, the snap, how they are dry, how they go dipped. So first I must pour my cup of tea from a height, of course. Oh yeah. Nary a drop spilled. Very good. So, whoa, look at that, there's 5 in a row. So the scent. Brown sugary, raisiny. You can see I'm rubbing it up my face and sort of deforming the snout there to get a really good sniff of it. Not doughy, sweet, raisiny. The top is very attractive to look at actually. It's sort of a beautiful golden brown. The snap I anticipate is going to be less of a snap and more of a sort of bend and tear. Oh, there was some snappage. Good biscuit so far. The scent is alluring, the snap is good, but you can see that there's little protuberances of raisin there. So these are probably a good travelling biscuit because they'd be hard to smash to hell. Going in dry, I anticipate they're going to be dry, quite plain tasting biscuit, but jazzed up by the raisins. I'm not particularly jazzed up by raisins, so I'm not expecting miracles here. I also feel the bike tipping over in the mud, so I'll be quick. Oh, that's crunch. Incredible dryness. I think the raisins or currants in this are low quality. There's lots of crunchy little seedlets in there. Not good. There's a bit of the fig roll about this which upsets me. I think fig rolls are shit. I'll do a review on those another day. But dry, these are very dry. Beautiful verdant countryside. Spring has at last sprung, although we're due rain for the next 10 years. So dry you have to drink tea on top, which is a very sophisticated manoeuvre. If ever you're out or eating with polite company, if you have a mouthful of food and then you take a big mouthful of drink to sort of wet it down so that you can eat faster, that's very impressive. You'll notice my headband. I'm now sponsored by the NBA, the National Biscuit Association. Such is the constitution of this biscuit, I reckon it will hold a 10-second dip, no problem. I suspect the biscuit will be turned to soup and the fruit will remain quite chewy. I think sourness will go up. I think the biscuit might taste a bit more exciting. I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't either. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little floppiness. Maybe you could hear that really stark crunching noise of the seeds in these currants. It's a bit crap. The raisins come alive. bitterness goes up slightly because you've dipped it in tea. The biscuit is almost flavourless. I think really, do I mean that? I think really the biscuit could be a bit more exciting. However, I would not want to see these chocolate covered. They're interesting enough. I think the fun of these biscuits is in the story more than the actual biscuit itself, although there is sustenance in it and I am quite hungry, so I'm happy to eat them. Shorter dip there. Wow, the biscuit takes 1 second and it's completely destroyed by tea. And so you can dip these for 10 seconds if you're looking to assert dominance over a stranger or establish your ranking in a hierarchy, but 1 second is ample. But they do need dipping because they are flipping dry and hard work to eat if you're not dipping. If you've got overactive salivary glands, brilliant. I'm sure a goat or a badger will eat those. Who are these for? They are for people that are travelling. I think they're a good travel biscuit. Based on my own biases, I would say these aren't a good keep it in the cupboard biscuit. They're a bit dull. The story is very exciting though, so if you've got a friend who's interested in history, these are most definitely a good biscuit to give to a friend that's interested in history. Good biscuit for a freemason, although I don't know what the handover procedure is with the... Anyway, if I were to give it a score out of 10, which I don't usually do and I don't want to get into that, I'd probably give them 4. Bit naff, but interesting nonetheless, and very, very strong and incredible value. There's 172 kilos per 100 grams. There's like 3... oh no, per biscuit. Wow, per biscuit 5... 200... Yeah, that's pretty good actually. 200 per strip of 5. There's 4 strips in here. That's 800 calories in a packet. So, you know, if you're walking up a big hill or a mountain, or, you know, you're going to miss dinner, get some Garibaldis for £1.25. There's a good story in there and you won't die. But as I was saying, as I was riding around, to have a biscuit named after you commemoratively, that's far better than having a headstone or a statue. So we salute these biscuits for the mechanism through which they were conceived and the story that goes with them, more than we salute them for their actual biscuitiness. I'm going to the Nürburgring in a Toyota MR2, which has got 2 more wheels than this and 5 more cylinders. I'll make a video about that, but then I'll come back and I'll get through all the rest of the classics because I know I've been lacking. Thank you for watching, and as promised, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will eat a custard cream, 10,000 I'll eat a bourbon, and 100,000 I will eat an Oreo. I'm still toying with the idea of whether I set up some sort of thing where people can put 20p in and buy a pack of biscuits together, but I'd feel weird about that because this is just, you know, a frivolous video inside the internet. But equally, wouldn't it be cool if it was my job? Anyway, push it to the limit because that's all I do, and I'll see you soon. Sponsored by the NBA. The bike's about to fall over. God's dick. Oh, in fact, I usually gun off my cup of tea, don't I? Assert dominance by downing tea.